Alan, moving on to your old team, Munster. Where do we start? 22 new registered players, still some players and coaches stuck in South Africa, which is so disappointing for them because of COVID. And they're going to be taking on Wasps on Sunday, a massive mountain to climb. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, it's a lot's been spoke about it, Stuart, and it is what it is. They've a crazy situation really with what happened in South Africa and the players testing positive there and having to isolate 14 management and players and staying in South Africa. Players coming home, I think 34 came home, and there's some positive cases amongst them as well. So it's been very strange and crazy and unique, I think. All eyes will be on that Wasps Munster game on Sunday to see what happens. And maybe we might see one or two emerging stars. I think it's a difficult situation, you know. I think Munster are lucky that, you know, they've 9 internationals, I think, is it at home, that were due to fly out a week after and play the Lions game, the second URC game. Luckily they didn't, and that they're, you know, Munster in a better position than say Cardiff or Scarlets, I think, and you know, they've a fair bit of experience there, and then they've got to make up the rest of the squad with NTS players, the provincial talent squad, All Ireland League players who are, you know, probably identified to be, you know, involved in future academies and stuff like that, and they've got to step up and go and play in Europe. As I said, Europe is different. I think the only glimmer of hope is that, and the only solace here is that, and I have to be very careful saying this because Wasps have a lot of injured players. I think they've 17 or 18 players out. They've been really stretched themselves. Players like Joe Launchbury, Dan Robson, Fekatoa, really top class, world class players are missing. Does it make it a little bit easier? Slightly, but like, it makes no sense if Munster go and do something here but as a Munster man, I said this a few times during the week, I'd just love to be in that situation where I was one of those internationals at home and trying to bring on some young guys and say, let's go and give it a crack. And one thing we'll do is just step up to the plate. We may be beaten. There's no pressure here because the reality is, unless something extraordinary happens, you know, Wasps win this game. But they can learn a lot. They can come together as a group and they can get something out of it. They've home and away with Casts in the next 2 rounds, and then they've Wasps at home. So they still have a glimmer of hope. If you win, you can win 2 games in this and collect bonus points and stuff like that, and maybe have a chance of getting into the round 16 stage. Win 3 games and you will make it. So I was really happy that Munster came out right from the word go and said, we're going to play this game. Now, they were a little bit more fortunate than, we'll say, Cardiff or Scarlets. That they had those internationals at home, and that gives it a strong foundation. But it's a very difficult situation, and I'm glad that they're going to play this game. And it's, as I said, it's going to be an intriguing contest.
What did Peter O'Malley say yesterday? He's training with lads early 2000s. Keith Earls old enough to be their father. What did you make of that, Alan?
Well, I had that situation when I was coming towards the end of my career, when you the likes of Keith Earls come and training and some of the younger players as well. So yeah, they're good players, and they're guys who are probably, you know, all the academy players. I think this isn't even a sub academy. This is guys in the national talent squad. This is guys in the provincial talent squad. So they're kind of levels below the academies and the sub academy. So Munster had so many players with them in South Africa, and more were to join the internationals, I think, and it was in with a view to taking on the Bulls and the Lions, and then trying to integrate the internationals and get them to play, which they should have been playing the Lions last weekend, and that team would have been as close as the team would have started to Wasps. That's ideally what they wanted to happen, but obviously all that went up in the air, and you have young guys here, and someone like Patrick Campbell, who's been playing with young Munsters, really, really talented player. He could be involved and is trained with him. I think what an opportunity for him. Daniel Okeke, who plays with Shannon, unbelievably powerful back row player, really promising, played for the Ireland 20s. He's someone who could go out and shine here. Roman Salanoa, who came from Leinster a year and a half ago and has had a lot of injuries. He's been back fit. It could be a great opportunity for him, whether he starts or is on the bench. Chris Farrell, risky situation with Chris Farrell. Do you put him straight into the team and risk him, picking up an injury? It's hard for a guy being out injured for a long time like that. So it's a very strange situation, but one they've got to get on with. And, those young players, I think they'll feel a bit of comfort with the likes of Dialinde, Peter O'Mahony, Ty Byrne, these guys. So I think it's one that could be a difficult day for him, but I'm kind of really excited and looking forward to seeing it. And I don't expect Munster to win. Maybe they will shock us and bring some of that Munster spirit that's needed and play with a bit of freedom as well. So let's see what happens. But it's certainly one that's going to be really intriguing.
Yeah, Matt, what do you make of it? Some boys playing Energy out there one week and the Heineken Cup the next. Pretty fascinating, isn't it?
It's like something out of those, those old storybooks, isn't it? The kids dream of playing. We used to have the one as cricketers that there'd be an injury and you'd be asked from the crowd to come out and, field for Australia or something, which does happen. There are some guys who've got to do that as substitutions. But, the chance of it happening. So you've got these young Munster guys that be looking at the Munster team, dreaming of one day wearing the jersey at the senior level, thinking that's years away if it is ever going to happen. Because as Alan knows, you have a lot of guys come into the system and a lot of them don't make it. They never actually play a game. The system pumps them out. As we say, the game's finished with you before you're finished with the game. These guys are going to play. I reckon that's a great story. What a story these guys are going to tell their kids in years to come. Christmas time, there's going to be some great tales told in Munster. And as Alan said, they got zip to lose. Everyone in the world expects them to lose, and they should lose. But that's their opportunity, isn't it? This is the great thing. Those boys have got an opportunity that they never thought they would have. You'd be saying, young man, grab this, grab it with everything you got, give it everything you got, and hang on to the bugger as tight as you can. Don't let it go. And as Alan said, they mightn't win, but they come out and put in a performance. They come out and maybe limit the damage so they don't get Wasps doesn't get a bonus point win, and they score some points themselves. That could be in 2 months' time. That could be as good as a win for Munster. So all these opportunities can be laid out and twisted into a positive light for these young men. And again, for senior players, here's their chance to really step up and be the leadership that we just spoke about that Alan was saying. I think in the darkness of this situation, there's nothing but light for the team that they put out, because they've got nothing to lose. Everything they do can be a bonus. And that's the sort of day as a young man you would thrive in. You would just say, this is my dream. This is my day. It might never come again, but boy, I'm going to grab this bugger now and I'm going to do it. I'm like Quinny. I can't wait to watch it. I think it's going to be the most fascinating game of the weekend.
I can tell you fancy them there, Matt, do you? To go and win?
I don't, if I wasn't saying this publicly, if it was just us, I'd be saying to Quinny, I reckon these blokes might give this a shake. Publicly, I'm not going to say that because it's just impossible, isn't it? It's just, we just know it's impossible. But that's what the great things are. We can do it.
It doesn't make sense that any of us would kind of speak and say that Munster will go and win this game. It was always going to be really difficult, even with a full Munster team, when you're away from home. And I know Wasps have had their struggles themselves, but even when you think about the situation here, Stuart, is that little bit of physical development in guys who are in the system that are not academy players, they're adults, they're men, as opposed to 19, 20-year-olds who are still very, very powerful and strong guys. But it's just that little bit of battled, hardened approach that you get when you're in a system for a while. So even if you're a squad player and going back to my days with Munster, we had a group of players who, when the internationals are away, which was probably 17 or 8 guys pretty much away with the international squads all the time, there was a group behind that were, the depth was phenomenal, and they were hard, they were resilient, they were powerful. And then you go down another level and, you know, of course you've got talent and you've got excitement and you've got really good players, but it's about decision making. It's about a little bit of a nous, being cute in what way you play the game, being confrontational, all that kind of stuff that comes with a little bit of experience. You probably have 8 or 9 internationals starting, and then you've got 6 guys on that will start that, you know, are lacking that little bit of experience. Now, what you get from that is you get maybe no baggage. You get guys who have talent who say, I'm going to show a little bit of character here. I'm going to do something. I'm going to smash one of the opposition players. But that's what worries me. And then maybe the scrum situation, that physical power that you get with maturity, with age, particularly front row players. You know, they get stronger as they get older, and a lot of them don't mature until their mid-20s. So if you've young props in there who haven't really experienced that, that would be a little concern. So there's certain areas, and John Mitchell has said this, that they're going to attack and challenge Munster. He played down the whole thing in his press conference yesterday, that they're not going to be fooled by this Munster, or, you know, just turning up to fulfill the fixture, and that he reckons, look, the reality is it's not going to be the strongest Munster team. It's going to be a very half really strong and half very, very weak. But how they gel together and that little bit of togetherness and hardness that you need in these games is what will make a little bit of a difference. But you look at some guys, and Matt said this, we could see 1 or 2 of these younger players, and you might see something in what 1 or 2 things they do to go, I like that. I like that bit of presence or that little bit of attitude about this guy. And I think this Okeke fella is capable of that. I think he's a powerful brute. He's a really good ball carrier. But let's wait and see. Look, on paper, Wasps win this game. I'm sure Munster and Peter O'Mahony will be firing up the players to say, we're not just turning up here. And I hope they bring a bit of fight, and I hope they get something out of it, even if they get well beaten. I hope they can get something out of it that involves growth for the future, or togetherness that brings everyone, because they've been through a difficult situation the last few weeks. Now, people on the outside of sport, and lots of people, have been in far worse situations, so it's not the end of the world. Sport gives everyone a lift, and I hope we get a bit of a lift out of them on Sunday. And we'd be crazy to say Munster will win this game. You know, it's not realistic, but they've done crazy things over the years, and I've involved in some of those matches. So, but look, I think the thing here is, and if I was in the Wasps group, and Mitchell is someone who's a lot of experience, and Lee Blackett as well, they're not going to buy into this situation. The challenge for them all week is, let's block out the outside noise. This is a potential banana skin. So it's just the mental side of this for both sides is going to be really, really important.
Well, we shall see.